Governance Committee will now begin whenever you're ready, Madam Chair Snyder.
Okay, so did we already adjourn the?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, I'm ready when you start the recording. You did. Okay. Hey, I would like to welcome everyone to the June 25th meeting of the DASNY Corporate Governance Committee. Sarah, will you please call a roll?
Yes, all three members of the Governance Committee are present for today's meeting. We have our chair, Beryl Snyder, in the New York City office, together with Al Carney. And here in the Albany office, we have the third committee member, Joan Sullivan. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The first matter for the committee will be the approval of the minutes of the March 12th Corporate Governance Committee meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
You do.
A second? Thank you. The motion is unanimously approved and the minutes are adopted. The next matter is the implementation of the budget bulletin. I would like to say that a memo describing the implementation of the budget bulletin is included in the board materials, and Jeffrey Arnold, DASNY's Director of Budget and Operations, will briefly describe the proposed resolution. Jeff?
Thank you. The Governance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board the adoption of a resolution authorizing salary increases for DASNY's staff officers pursuant to Budget Bulletin D1153, issued by New York State Division of Budget on May 20th. Adjustments to non-staff officer management confidential employees will also be made administratively. The bulletin includes a 3% general salary increase effective 4/1/25 for all management confidential employees who are on the payroll as of April 3rd, 2025. The bulletin also includes performance advances for employees who completed 13 or more full pay periods of creditable service during the 2024-25 fiscal year. No budget increase is being requested as funds were included in the adopted DASNY operating budget for these increases. And I'd be happy to take any questions anyone.
No question.
It's Al. I've never asked before, and I guess I probably have had the time to do that. But the performance enhancements, is there a protocol in place for determining that, or is that your responsibility, Robert, entirely? Or, I'm not asking how you do it. I just want to know where the energy is.
Yeah, no, in terms of performance measurements, we certainly on the executive level look at that, perform regular reviews on that. If this doesn't incorporate that, this is more of a keeping in line with the 3% inflation and
Sure.
matching the existing state step in terms of the contractual obligations that are made on that. But I think there's certainly an opportunity to review that and make recommendations, commensurate with performance.
Sure.
To really address the compensation needs.
And do you put a ceiling on that here?
We have not
Okay.
ever engaged in that conversation, but it's certainly something that
No, I was curious
that
what
we
you
would
do.
bring to the board and
Sure.
discuss.
Okay, thank you.
I can just clarify real quick, it's performance advance, and it's really the equivalent of a step or an increment on our union scales. So it's the way that the people move through the salary range as they, are here. So
Yeah,
yes,
it's
it is
basically lockstep, like a lockstep
This is the
system.
lockstep
Okay.
system.
So it's
This
not
doesn't-
really,
doesn't
whatever it's
incorporate-
called, it's not really a performance related.
Correct.
You're like a fifth year, whatever, you may make more
Exactly.
than a first year
And
based on the union scale.
Yeah, the equivalent is, in the rank and file, for lack of a better word, in contractual obligations, they are entitled to a 3% increase for that. And this is, doing that for the MC or the management confidential employees to keep them in line.
Got it. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on this? Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to recommend to the full board approval of the resolution regarding the implementation of salary increases for staff officers consistent with the budget bulletin. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Joan. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The third matter is the procurement policy and guidelines. A memo describing the proposed changes to DASNY's procurement policy and guidelines is included in the board materials, together with a black line copy of the materials and the materials. Kara Mallor, Director of Procurement, I'd like to introduce her and ask her to describe the proposed changes to these policies and guidelines. Kara?
Great, thank you. Thank you everyone for the opportunity to join today and present the updates to the procurement policy and guidelines. As mentioned, there is a memo in your board materials behind tab 3, and it explains the changes to the procurement policy and guidelines, and there is a black line and clean copy of the document as well. Some of the revisions, minor revisions to the procurement policy and guidelines reflect some legislative changes, including the increased threshold for discretionary contracts for minority and women-owned business enterprises and service disabled veteran-owned business enterprises up to $1.5 million. And it also provides for new reporting requirements. In addition, there are additional updates to the reporting requirements for the annual report, specifically as it relates to contracts awarded to MWBEs and SDVOBs, as well as reporting requirements for the pilot program. The reference to Executive Law 17B was replaced with the Veterans Services Law Article 3, and this is for participation by SDVOBs with respect to state contracts. And finally, there were minor clarifications and cleanups resulting from the update to the procurement policy and guidelines revision in 2023. We are recommending that the governance committee recommend the approval of these changes to the full DASNY board.
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask for a motion to recommend the full board. Al, approval of this resolution to approve revisions to the procurement policy and guidelines. Al, thank you. And Joan, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I'd like,
Madam Chair, may I
Aye.
ask, no, asked it, may I?
please ask.
I
Ask
was
away.
very taken, what's the pilot program, under the procurement guidelines. Is that our idea or was it?
Al, I would love to say that it was completely our idea.
I agree with it.
But and the good thing is we have Carrie in the room and Kara over there. Part of this is responding to legislative actions that were
Yes.
taken that encouraged us to either provide 5% of the value of all our procurement contracts awarded by DASNY, or $20 million for
Into higher.
MWBEs.
The
The
higher.
higher of. So much of what we're doing now and what Carrie has been doing with OPG is developing programs, including the pilot program, as well as potentially our mentor protege program. And I will certainly not steal their thunder. They can chime in, accordingly to increase where we already are, which, as I mentioned, is 34% of MWBE. So I think that those continuing efforts with these new expanded efforts to really build up the population of firms and provide real substantive opportunities through that will really continue to enhance our MWBE efforts, and the procurement guidelines, and making sure that this is incorporated, reported, reflects our ability to be able to support those efforts. And importantly, Kara can chime in as well, making sure that our current guidelines allow for the additional tools that we received in the last budget with regards to alternative delivery and some of the qualification metrics. So hence, we're here for updating of the guidelines. Kara or Carrie, anything to add?
I don't have anything to add.
We've been at the forefront. We used to, in fact, I think when we first started out, we had our own conferences. I think the
That's right.
governor's office,
Right.
second floor,
That's right.
sort of jumped in and sort of.
I'd have to speak.
Well, we're gonna get back to the forefront, and I think, as we,
I didn't suggest we weren't at the forefront. I was just saying.
I
we
suggest there's
were.
always a new forefront to be had. So,
I-
so we will be getting it.
I should hope you are, I only hope you are correct in that. I hope you're right,
Sometimes.
as society progresses. Okay, so now, are there any other questions? So I would like to request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you,
Is there a
Joan.
Resolution.
I think we made one, but in case we didn't, I will again. All in favor of the resolution, aye. To all in favor of recommending to the board the resolution to approve revisions to the procurement policy and guidelines. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. Now, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Make the motion.
Thank you, and all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Committee adjourned.